Feliz Domingo! Thank you for joining SalviSoul and for our second Facebook Live cooking class. And if you've ever wanted to make pupusas or understand how to make them, today's your day because it's very special. We have Chef Wendy Centeno from Vchos truck. She is the proud co-owner and the one who has made all of the recipes for all the delicious menu items for her food truck. So today we are going to get into pupusas. And if you have your questions, make sure you write them in the comments and we'll be answering them as we go. Okay, so let's get into it. So what do we have? Tell us what we have.
All right. Well, thank you for having me today.
Of course.
I'm excited to
And we're matching today. I love pupusas.
We love pupusas. So we have the masa.
Okay.
We're going to make today some revueltas and we're traditional, no? We're going traditional. So revueltas en noroco con queso.
Okay.
And we also have our version of the vegan revuelta, which is our own homemade cashew cheese, black beans, and vegan chicharrón. It tastes pretty much the same.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes. I've had both of the revueltas and I can't decide. And you told me that I would have a hard time deciding, and they're both really good. They're both excellent. So, yes, I could.
Okay, so let's start.
Okay, so what would be the first step for someone who wants to make pupusas? I guess it would be the masa.
The masa.
How would they make the masa?
The masa, it's the same with the tortilla. You can find it in any Latino market. They sell it now. In the same section, the tamales, you can find the tortilla, masa for tortilla.
Okay.
You can get it like that. Or for people that they don't have access to that, they sell the little masa maseca. It's one of the brands that you can have on the stores, and then you can really put hot water if you get those, because it's better like that. So it can taste a little similar to the actual masa.
Ah, that's a great tip, you guys. Hot water if you're gonna buy store-bought masa that you have to mix with water, so it makes it more tender.
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So then we get our masa.
So comenzamos. We're not using gloves today. This is how I grew up watching my aunt, abuela, tias, and in El Salvador, this is how the ladies make it. Bare hands, no gloves. So you wet your hands a little bit so the masa won't stick on you, and grab the masa. I rather not to have too much masa in my pupusas because it's better to have most meat and filling inside than masa.
Así está bien.
Un poquito más.
Un poquito más. So I'm getting enough to fit my, so if you can see, I don't know, ¿pueden ver bien? Can you guys see? That's how much you're going to use. And I agree. It's better to not have too much, and that's why I like yours, because they're not
Son gorditas.
Rellenitas de esto, it's good.
Okay. So recently I've been teaching a few people how to make pupusas, and I know we're not perfect, and nobody's gonna make it perfect pupusas. So the easiest way to do it is you just kind of smash the tortilla until you get it really thin. Doesn't have to be fully round. It can be square, however you want it. So like the first one before you get the filling in.
So I want to break it down so people. So it's sticky on your hand, right? So what you're, so you're rotating your hand.
So you use this.
Yes.
And in order for you to smash the masa, you don't use this. Because if you do it like this, you will never smash the masa. You have to use this part of your fingers in order for you to be smashing it like that.
It is easier to manipulate the masa
like that.
Dale.
How was your day yesterday? The independence
of
our country.
Yes. Well, I had a family birthday, so it was a special day.
Good.
So el mío no está tan grande como el tuyo, Wendy. Está medio. It's a little oblong.
But it's okay.
Oh, pero mira qué lindo. That's nice. It's nice. Okay.
You can put more masa if you want.
So if I did have to put more masa,
you just add it.
So just on top. So this is good, you guys. There's no messing up in this. So aquí.
Y ya se estira like it was shrimp.
Ahí arriba. This is
It's art.
It is an art. It is in there. But just like art, you practice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see aprende.
Yes.
Okay, so we got this going here.
Okay. So now the filling. What flavor are you gonna want?
I think I'm gonna do the vegano one.
Vegano?
Yes.
Okay.
So, ¿cómo le hacemos?
You just I kind of wet it a little bit more so it won't, the whole thing won't stick in your hand. So you grab it. Because I want a little bit of cheese.
And is it the same amount as the masa that we made?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, a little bit more.
Oh, a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, making Morocco.
Okay. So I'm putting it
Because
here.
remember I got my masa was about a little less than this. So I'm getting a little more, tiny
And
more.
is that like the traditional kind of proportionate or todo a su gusto, verdad?
You know what? I grew up with it, so when you get the pupusas that are from the ladies across the street, they make it really thin because it's like our poor pupusas over there, you know. I used to get it like that. But if you go where the like really like good pupusas are, they make them like that. They make it really thick and fill up with things. But those are more expensive, obviously. The places that you go and eat over there too.
All right, so you stopped explaining. A ver, so you.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so I saw you. So we pinch off. So you take the corners of the pupusa.
Let me get to the point.
Okay.
Get to the point real quick. I'll get it real quick.
Es la experta here que
Okay.
going.
So I was gonna make loroco again. So we get this like that. And when I make it, I make the pupusas like this is because this is like the best pupusas I had over there, and I just wanna compare it to the same in El Salvador.
Okay.
So they're really thick and flavorful inside, and just a tiny masa. So you have this, and what you do is just fold it like that. Kind of get close with the masa right here, and then you switch, and then you do the same thing without ripping this side at the bottom.
I did it and it did not rip. So
yeah, see?
And all of that is depending on how good you prepare your masa.
The masa you need to do it. It's called amasar. So you do it until you get like a really, I would say not sticky, because if you have too much water it will be sticky. But I say like elastic. You have to make it elastic. That's the way you will have a good pupusas and a good tortillas if you want in the masa.
Similar to kind of Play-Doh. That's
Yes.
kind of how it feels.
Yes.
We've all played with Play-Doh. So go to your kids. Plastilina. Go play with that and then you're ready. Question.
Well, Dicho's Tío Bicho comments that clapping sound is the best thing in the world. Somebody said
Yes, it is. It's a good sound.
Yeah, it is a good sign. So you have this now, the bola, la bolita, la chibola.
Yo empecé así.
Okay.
Pero bueno, we have a
when we close it and then we close it again, there's a little excess of masa.
Pinch it off.
You pinch it off. Why? Because you don't want that to be on any side of the pupusa. And when you bite it, it's just full of masa. You don't want that, so you just take it off. Right now, we're gonna keep using because we're doing the same flavors and it's for us.
Yes.
Okay. So we have the little bolita, and then what we do is we kind of start smashing it like this. I'm using this part and these two fingers. Like little Spider-Man.
I'm using all
Pretty
four.
much.
And this is kind of la misma técnica. This is similar to the technique we went over last month with making regular tortillas.
Exactly.
So
that's just the finish.
So if you're able to practice with making tortillas first, then this part
you'll be a master.
You'll be a master.
Okay, so you go like this, but you can always just do it like that, like this. You don't have to use that technique if you can, because that's for experts like Carla. So you can just do the same way we smash the tortilla in the beginning, like that. And you can just do the little fixing on the edges of the pupusa. And you keep going until either you want it like really thin or thick.
It's great to see it up close because she's explaining it, but there's also this like rhythm. Like, you know know when you look at people, they're dancing and you're trying to watch them, like, oh, how are they doing it? Is it a quick change here? It's similar to that. You kind of get into a rhythm. So if you don't get it right the first time, it takes practice until you look like you're knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, like anything. Yes, like anything.
Like anything. So mine, it started to break a little bit here.
That's fine. Why? Because you don't put too much, like a lot of masa, and you're able to see the food on inside the pupusa.
Yeah. It's gonna be like almost like crispy edges. It's gonna be good.
That.
Okay.
Okay. So on our pupusas, we don't use lard on the masa because if you use lard on the masa, the pupusa is having your stomach first.
Yes.
And second, it gets really hard after you cook it, so they won't be really soft after like an hour. It will be really hard.
Good to know.
So I just use like a little tiny of this right now, para que no se pegue.
Maybe we'll lower this a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, porque se nos va a quemar la pupusa.
And this is, I'm gonna ask this question because a lot of people say la pupusa no lleva aceite. They'll say pupusas don't need oil for anything. And here we're not using it for the pupusa. We're using it for our pan. Here,
but just like a slight, because it's let's say if we're to be using this before, it will save like the grease from the cheese, but we don't need to add anything on it. This is just in the beginning when it's like wash and we haven't started cooking, but we don't use it like the rest of the day.
And make sure your pan is hot because then
the pupusas will start getting all saggy, and then you will have like a big mess on your pan. So it's medium high heat all the time.
The women in my family would say, se te va a pasmear, like
pasmada.
Va a quedar pasmada. You don't want that.
You know what's that for? Like, when you tell you pasmada, like you're dumb. You don't use that word.
Yeah. You don't want your pupusa looking done. Para nada. Okay.
So we're ready. Yeah.
Yes.
We can place our pupusa.
Delicious sounds,
guys. She said she's not an expert. Look at this.
No, pero es que la maestra, she taught me, you know? So, here we go.
A ver.
I'm actually, these look bien rellenitas. I like it.
It's good. So, here we go again.
So, we're going to do this again. I think this is, any questions, you guys? Let us know. We're right here. A lot of people, we did a little questionnaire. A lot of you, I think it was about like 10 or 11 had never done pupusas, but they really want to. And then a few others said that they had done it, but they did not feel confident. And then a few others...
Like 2 people said... One person said, just entertain me. I just want to watch.
Some people just want to watch. And
that's true. Because when we have the booth, people, they're like right next to us just to see it. It's like, oh my God, it looks easy, but I'm sure it's not. Like, if I was able to make it, like, because I was not in El Salvador, when I grew up, I know how to make like the different foods, but no pupusas or tortillas. I can say that.
Oh.
Until I came, my tia started teaching me everything, and I got it like in 4 weeks, every day, non-stop. And if I was able to do it, you guys are able to do it too.
It's like Salvi Cooking School. Yes, we should have one.
Okay, so we go back to the first, like a really thin tortilla.
And just a question too, if someone wants to prepare the fillings, how would they do that? Can it be anything? Like, because I know there's a lot of people who want to incorporate more vegetables.
Yes.
So maybe they can't make their own cashew cheese or...
They can do just fully vegetables.
Yeah.
But when you make fully vegetables, make sure you incorporate maybe a squash. I would say maybe some, a little bit potato that's going to hold any vegetable that you want to get in the filling. Because if you use just dry vegetables, you won't be able to make the little ball or smash it, and it will fall apart. So you want to always choose a vegetable that's going to hold the rest of your vegetables together in order for you to become like a little pasty texture for the filling.
So technically you can use anything, so long as it's like starchy.
I would say that enough to hold it.
So it should, you should be able to mash it, I guess.
Yeah, because in El Salvador, even though there's some with pescado, camarones. Like there's a tons of different pupusas. But this one is traditional that you find in any pupuseria.
Yeah, you always find it.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give you a little update here, the best part of pupusa with queso, of course, is that little piece of cheese that kind of starts melting out, and that's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So mine is not as thin here, como, pero es que eso está bien delgadito. Okay, I'm good with this. I'm okay with it. I'm gonna do some of this.
The regular revuelta.
Regular revuelta here. And you know, ya casi. So these are almost ready. So it's about what, 2 minutes on each side?
Yeah, I would say 3 minutes to be safe, because I don't want you guys to eat raw masa. Just the pericos eat raw masa.
Yes, and I have been to restaurants where the masa is still a little raw, and it's always like because the flavor is so good, you know, and the pupusa is always gonna be a delicious experience. But just make sure your masa is cooked. So
that's because of this. If you make it thin, with this minute, the pupusa won't have take that long to cook all the way through. But if you put thick masa, it will happen. That will happen.
So thick masa for fast cooking, and so it's not a lot of masa that you're eating either.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna do it with our hands.
Yes,
the flipping.
The flipping todavía, or
no, le falta.
I think this one.
Yeah, that one you can do.
Okay, alright, we're just gonna. Ahí está.
Yeah.
I lowered it, so maybe that's why.
Put it más.
Okay. So this is like over medium heat. Question.
So Victor asks, I've seen pupusas made of many sizes. In your opinion, what is an appropriate size, if there is such a thing?
Look,
good question.
I've been looking at this all my life in El Salvador. So the pupusas, they're about this big. And there's some places that even like this in El Salvador, in Salco.
¿Cómo?
Like this,
Wow.
in Salco. To me, Salco has one of the best pupusas so far. They're like this. You don't need to make it that big. I feel like that's just like a little Americanized side that we have done it like that. But pupusas, they're just like about this big. They're not like too huge. That's this size over there. So, but right here, like if you want it big, they make it big. Like, lo que el cliente quiera, pretty much.
And also, one of the things about pupusas is that this is a food that was invented by the pipil. So, you know, they make it with their hands. So as big as your hand is, I guess, is how you're able to manipulate and maneuver the masa. Because it's, I mean, when it has the filling, it becomes a lot more to maniobrar, to maneuver. So your hand is good size. That's good size.
Okay, this is ready. I'm going to get my.
That looks
how do I put it like more? Because we need more heat. Yeah,
okay.
more.
So I said max. All the way.
All the way.
One is ready. So I'm very soon in the second one. And I did regular revuelta here.
Estoy quemando, bicha.
Ay, ay, ay. That cheese though, guys, it's so good. And then with the
spatula.
Aquí quieres el tenedor?
Improvisation.
And just a question, because I know a lot of people really like the pupusas de loroco. How, with the loroco, how would you recommend? Do you have to, you use that raw? Do you cook it, or?
No, it's raw. It's raw.
Loroco, because this looks a little darker green than the raw loroco is like really bright, vibrant, but this one looks a little
when
darker.
you blend it, the heat of the food processor, when you shop it, it gets it has like an actual liquid. The loroco, when you do that, like the same with the spinach, it has like a little liquid that comes, and then that's when you mix it with the cheese, that's the color that you see. It's gonna change a little bit, like that.
Okay.
Si ocupamos más fuego.
Yeah.
Se me está pasmadeando.
It's still, I mean, it's still good though. So, and another thing that we also have, that la pupusa always has curtido y la salsa de tomate. So it has to, right? Because it's just delicious. So if you want to explain a little bit of how that.
Okay, the curtido, cabbage, repollo. You get the repollo. In El Salvador, there are people that put cucumbers and carrots, like the big slices on it.
And I've also seen cauliflower.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, ese es el escabeche.
El escabeche.
Escabeche.
And then we have the salsita de tomate. And this salsa, it's how would you prepare that?
It's tomato, oregano, salt, onions, and garlic. You just tú la hierves, and then you just blend it. You have to put more tomato than water. It's like a little bit of water. Why? Because you always want your salsa thick.
Yeah.
This is how it is supposed to be, guys.
And a concentrated tomato flavor. And one of the things too is that tomato and the curtido also bring in an acid component. So with the cheese and this, it can be a little bit heavier, right? So this kind of brightens up the taste.
And also the oregano, what's important to put oregano in your curtido is because oregano helps you to digest this food. That's the whole purpose of putting oregano in a curtido. It helps you to digest the whole cheesy food that you're eating. And don't forget to add vinegar and chile. But Salvadorians, we don't eat too much spicy food.
Yeah,
it has to be like a slice, like that little kick, and then not too much
I'm
spice.
gonna add this one
Dale,
here.
dale, dale. Mira, el queso quemadito.
I know, this one's insane. I was trying to do some research on the original vinegar that was used for curtido, because a lot of folks use apple cider vinegar or white distilled vinegar. Let us know what vinegar you use if you make your own curtido, because I think it's a really fun, curious question, because a lot of folks will just kind of adapt the recipe. But I learned that some people would make their own pineapple vinegar, and that was what was used in the curtido. And that's the original.
That's the original. You put the pineapple to pretty much all itself to start boiling in water. My grandma recipe, it's apples, pineapple, we put panela, and then it's just start boiling naturally. That's a vinegar.
Yeah.
To me, the most similar vinegar right now on the stores, it will be rice vinegar, and you can add little tomillo or some little flowers that you would like, and then boil that with that and a little bit of panela. And then to me, that's the one that becomes similar to the
original. Oh, okay. That's great. I loved learning that because I love curtido. It's just such a fresh food, and it's just good. It's healthy, right?
Yeah.
And you can always have this. And I know a lot of us want to eat more, have a lot of Salvadoran cuisine in our life, especially if we're trying to stay connected to our cuisine. And curtido is just a great thing you can put in anything. And you can make it super fast.
All right. Carla, ¿qué más? ¿Teneme plato?
Ay, yo te tengo. Ay, se pegó. If you could only see what I'm seeing, you'd be jealous.
Oh my
Uy,
God.
ay,
Mira, quemado.
wow.
Entra buenísimo este.
Yes, it's the four.
Okay.
Alright, so we have our pupusa right here. This is the one Wendy made. It's perfectly round, and I can already tell that the filling is perfect to the edge of the pupusa. So here, this is what I'm going to show you right there. Delicious. Okay, and so we're going to add the usual fixings. So curtido, I like to have a lot, but a lot of people don't really like too much.
Okay, another way that I have people comment to us, oh, no te comes así las pupusas. Oh, you don't eat pupusas like that. Guys, there's a tons of way to eat pupusas.
Yes.
Like however you eat it, as long as you put it in your stomach and you enjoy this plate,
Yes.
that's the only way that you can have it, okay?
There's no wrong way to eat it.
Exactly.
Don't let anyone say that to you. And if they get upset, tell them we said that. And this is it right here. So let's get into this. A ver.
No, you like tomatito.
I know, I get this piece.
Okay. Yes.
So Hermano Manuel Hernandez is tuning in, and he was joking about ordering 15 pupusas. And then Hermano David Castro said that your tips for the vinegar are fascinating.
Thank you.
And then Victor from Vchos says, most places here in LA unfortunately simplify the curtido and salsa de tomate. So props to Vchos for keeping as close to real as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, just to bring you guys that little piece that I grew up with all the time in each plate.
It's
that we
delicious.
grew up. Thank you.
It's savory. There's little bits of crunch. I know you guys have all had pupusas if you're watching this, but it just never gets old. It's a really great combination, and yeah. So this has been our step-by-step cooking class of pupusas. If there was something we didn't address, feel free to write a question in the comments, and we'll get back to it. But yeah.
Eat it with your hands.
Yes.
Eat it with your hands.
Just eat it. All right, guys. Ciao.
Bye. What's what?